SealMaster presents On the Pavement, featuring the SM-125 direct fire melter.
Hi guys, Garrett Knoll with you here with SealMaster and ThorWorks equipment. Today we're going to be talking about the Crack Pro SM-125 direct fire melter. This is a 125 gallon capacity trailer mounted unit designed for use with direct fire crack sealant material. Okay guys, let's go through this burner control panel back here on this Crack Pro SM-125. After my engine is running, the first thing I'm going to do is come back here and flick this switch to the on position. What we have done is told the machine, go ahead and use the diesel burner, okay? You're going to hear the diesel burner kick on here in a minute, okay? The burner just ignited, okay? What we have here are 3 indicator lights on the control panel. Your green one indicates that there is a flame coming out of your diesel burner, okay? You also have a high temp reset switch. If this burner senses the temperature is too hot, it will kick itself out. If that happens, you're gonna need to reset this switch. And also we have a burner fail sensor, okay? You also have on your control panel your digital temperature interface. You have 2 values on this display. You have your ambient temperature, okay, and you also have your set value temperature. And as you can see here, we have this digital control set to 375 degrees. And we also have your ambient, which this number will continue to rise. And optimum temperature for your direct fire material will be clearly labeled on top of your material box. Okay guys, here we are at the rear of the machine, okay? I've got a material temperature gauge here. Once I'm reading somewhere between 375 to 400 degrees, which is optimum application temperature for hot pour crack fill material, I can go ahead and open up my 2-inch molasses discharge valve, which this machine discharges via gravity flow. There is no material pump, okay? All we're gonna do is open up our molasses valve. I am wearing gloves because this valve is going to get extremely hot, okay? If you can imagine that diesel fire burner just cranking heat into this pot, okay? Always use caution when opening these valves or being anywhere near this machine, okay? So we can go ahead and open our discharge valve. Some of the equipment you guys are going to be discharging into would be your MA10 mobile applicator, your hot pour pot, or you have a crack banding machine also. Okay guys, just some examples of some tools that we're going to be using in conjunction with our SM-125 direct fire melter, okay? Because this machine has no material pump, what we're doing is we're just going to be gravity flowing into some sort of applicating tool, okay? Here we have 3 examples for you. We have our MA10 direct fire mobile applicator, okay? We have our crack banding machine, and we have our pour pot, okay? What we're going to do is simply open the valve and discharge material into one of these units, which is going to be used to apply the product. Just a couple more quick hitters about the discharge valve, guys. Number 1, always use safety precautions, okay? This thing's going to be piping red hot, okay? You always want to have a pair of nice thick gloves. Number 2, when you're traveling, this has a nice lockout pin, so grab a cotter pin and a lock to lock this discharge valve out. And remember, you always want to have some sort of complementary tool that you're going to be discharging this material into, okay? Guys, just very quickly wanted to touch on these 3 vents that we have. In order to ensure proper operation of your diesel burner, this unit has 3 vents for removing your fumes and your exhaust from your diesel burner. This particular machine does feature full sweep agitation. Located here at the center of your kettle is your hydraulic motor, and this hydraulic motor is directly driving your full sweep agitator arms, okay? And the agitator does have forward and reverse capability. Located behind and directly above your control panel is your material temperature sensor. This sensor is responsible for a couple different things. Number 1, it is sending information back to your digital temperature display. You have your set value, and your red numbers at the top is your fluctuating material temperature. That information is being sent from this material sensor. It is also telling the diesel burner in this particular case when to cycle on and off, okay? There is also a high temperature kickout for the diesel burner, so there is a preset value in your digital temp display, and if that value is reached, this sensor will kick the burner out completely, at which time your material will come back down to temperature naturally, and you can at that point in time hit your reset and you can cycle the burner back on. This machine features a 10-gallon capacity diesel fuel tank. With the diesel burner option, this machine will give you up to 8 hours of operation. Guys, we just real quickly wanted to touch on the style of axle assembly that you have on all of our Crack Pro melting kettles. We use a torsion style axle. The reason for the torsion style is it gets our machine up high enough for filling our application tools such as an MA10. As you can see, my discharge valve is nice and high, and if we were to use axles with leaf springs, it would sit down a little lower, and we wouldn't be able to fill these up with such ease. And just to mention very quickly, this particular unit does meet the weight threshold for not needing an electric trailer brake. Okay guys, here we are at the front of our Crack Pro SM-125 direct fire melter. Just to give you some quick hitters on the power pack that's on this unit, we have a Honda 8 horsepower gas powered motor. We have our ignition switch, and in behind our cover we actually have a high output, high efficiency alternator. The reason for that is we need the additional power to run our diesel burner, okay? On the side here we have our electric regulator rectifier, which is actually converting the AC power that the alternator is putting out into usable DC power for the diesel burner. Very quickly, we have our hydraulic pump mount and hydraulic pump, which is running our forward and reverse agitation. And like always, our SealMaster machines always have an identification plate with month and year of manufacture. Okay guys, let's go ahead and walk you through how to fire this Honda engine up so you can go ahead and start melting some crack fill. First things first, we've got our electric start, electric ignition here on the side, okay? I have got up here, I've got full choke. My gray lever here is full choke, okay? All the way to the left is my full choke position. Honda also gives you a fuel shutoff feature, which is very important, okay? This engine is designed for you to turn that fuel off after every single use, okay? If not, you can get some fuel that wants to run its way down into the oil pan. It's not a good thing. We want to be shutting that fuel off after every application, after every time we started it. Okay, so I've turned my fuel on, and just in case we do have a dead battery, this engine does come with a pull start function, okay? However, keep in mind, if your battery's dead, your diesel burner is not going to work, okay? We can go ahead and give this unit some RPM. I'm in the full choke position. My fuel is on, and we can go ahead and roll that engine over. Now, just to mention to you guys, this engine does not have to be run at full RPM for this unit to run efficiently. Okay, we can run this thing somewhere around mid-range. Okay guys, we're gonna give you a quick breakdown piece by piece of your diesel burner system, okay? Leading into your burner is your fuel and your fuel separating filter, your water separator, okay? On the left-hand side of your diesel burner assembly is your diesel fuel pump. Right down the middle is your igniter, your power igniter. On the right-hand side, upper level, is your control box or your primary control, which is receiving signals from your material temperature sensor and cycling the burner on and off, okay? And because this is a forced air diesel burner, on the right-hand side is your fan motor. In the event, guys, that you do run your diesel burner out of fuel, which can happen with a 10-gallon capacity tank, okay, you are going to have to bleed that system. So there is a bleed port on your diesel burner on the pump assembly, which is located on the left-hand side, and down below about 5 o'clock on this dial is your bleed port, okay? And like I said, that's located right on your diesel pump on the diesel burner itself. The first thing you want to do when you want to bleed that system is to flick your switch to the on position on your diesel burner control panel, okay? Once I've done that, I'm going to come back to my burner and I'm going to open that bleed port. You're going to get some spurts of air through that system, and once you get a nice solid stream of diesel fuel, go ahead and tighten it up. At that point in time, you forced all the air out of your system. and you can flick your switch back to the off position. Okay guys, we're just going to take you through the hydraulic system on this machine really quick. What I'm leaning on here is our hydraulic oil tank. It does have a 10-gallon capacity, and we did want to mention to you at this time that all of our machines across the board are using AW68 spec of hydraulic oil. So make a note of that. AW68 or ISO 68 is what we're filling our hydraulic tanks with, okay? Here we have our master shutoff on and off valve for the hydraulic system. This is our hydraulic filter element, which is on the suction side. Again, our hydraulic pump, and all we're driving with hydraulics on this unit is our full sweep agitation, okay? So bolted on the side of this machine is our control valve for the full sweep agitator, okay? Obviously we have forward and reverse function, okay? And as we mentioned to you before, the hydraulic motor that directly drives the agitator is bolted here on top of the unit. Okay, and last thing we wanted to mention to you, as always, all of our units come with a documentation case, okay, which is going to have all your documentation, operators manuals, parts books, and breakdowns for your Honda engine, your diesel burner. Everything you'd need from a paperwork standpoint is going to be right here in this case. Guys, we wanted to touch on the variable speed control valve for the agitator as well, okay? We wanted to mention to you that the agitator does not need to be going at an incredibly high rate of speed, okay? You just want a nice, even agitation, just barely pushing those blocks through the material for a nice, even melt, okay? And we wanted to mention to you that this control valve is variable speed, meaning the farther I push it up into forward, the faster my agitation is going to go, and the same thing on the reverse, okay? So we just wanted to mention to you that this control valve is variable speed and that you just kind of want to bump it into gear. It's not all about how much speed you're getting on your agitator. Okay guys, let's talk about what the steps are when you take delivery of this brand new SM-125 direct fire melter, okay? Before we fire this thing up and bring it up to temperature, we need to place some blocks of material by hand all around the bottom part of this kettle, okay? What we want to do is try and place these blocks so we have as much surface area of material facing down towards the bottom of the pan, okay? And what we want to do is try and get a nice even layer of material started in the bottom of this pan, okay? Once I have placed my blocks all around the melting kettle, I can go ahead and start the machine and we can bring it up to temperature, okay? Keep a close eye on it, okay? And once these blocks start to melt down about halfway, at that point in time it's safe to go ahead and nudge your agitator into forward and we can start moving that material around. As the blocks continue to melt down, you can go ahead and start loading material very slowly by using your anti-splash loading lid. Guys, we want you to remember that this anti-splash material loading door is extremely important, and anytime you're loading material, you want to be standing facing this door straight on. You put your block of material on here and you're going to tilt this door straight up, making sure there's no material that splatters back. And you always want to make sure anytime this door is open that your agitator is in the off or neutral position. Guys, we just wanted to demonstrate to you our master diesel fuel shutoff valve. Remember, the diesel fuel is only feeding the diesel burner. This is a gas-powered Honda engine. We are on 2 different fuel systems here. If ever you need to kill the diesel fuel flow to your Beckett burner, here's your on-off valve. Guys, we wanted to mention one other thing to you real quickly in regards to the diesel burner and your 12-volt battery power, okay? The Honda engine does come with a pull start function as a safety backup. But remember, you cannot run this machine efficiently with no battery power. So if you do show up in the morning and your electric start function is either non-existent or sluggish, that means you've got a dead battery here, okay? Our diesel burner pulls a lot of amperage, and we also have that high efficiency, high output alternator installed on our Honda engine, okay? We are trying to force as much power back into this battery for operating this diesel burner. And remember, if you have a dead battery or a battery without a full charge, this machine is not going to operate properly. We always want to make sure we've got a fresh battery with a good solid start. So we touched on it a little bit earlier, guys. We talked about the pour pots, we talked about the crack banding machines. Let's talk about the MA10 mobile applicator, which we really recommend as your weapon of choice to be used in conjunction with this SM-125 direct fire, okay? We do have contractors that will keep 2 or 3 of these MA10s constantly fed on an 8-hour cycle, and the capacity of this unit is up to 125 gallons of material, which is 25 50-pound boxes of material, okay? So we can keep these units constantly fed on any job that you got 5,000 or more linear feet of cracks to do. The weapon of choice would be your MA10 mobile applicator. So who are we going to market this machine to, guys? On the contractor side, we're looking for maybe your mid-level guys that are ready to graduate out of an MA10 into their first melting kettle. Okay, this machine has a real low price entry point into the market. It is very easy to maintain, and it's a very, very simple machine to operate, okay? So this machine will be a really nice fit for your mid-level guys who are ready to graduate out of an MA10 or 2 and up to a bulk melting kettle.
Let's review the key features. This unit is a 125-gallon capacity direct fire gravity flow melter. It is ideally suited for CrackMaster Supreme direct fire hot pour crack sealant and designed for use with vapor LP gas. Automatic temperature control with automatic shutoff feature to prevent material from overheating. Hydraulically driven, direct drive, full sweep agitation with forward and reverse that guarantees even, consistent material heating and mixing. Anti-splash loading lid. Torsion suspension axle maintains enough machine height to allow easy filling of MA10 melter applicator if needed. And fast heat up time. For more information on this machine and all other SealMaster equipment, contact your SealMaster representative at 800-395-7325 or visit SealMaster.net.